Hello, everybody. Joe the Jet G here, and sorry for the long absence. As of late, this past week, my brother got married. I was the best man, and it was a whole, you know, big focus type of thing. So now it's back to this. Now it's back to being on here and talking to you guys about the Jets. But this video isn't going to be particularly about the Jets. It's going to be somewhat of a mix in a way because I'm combining my other favorite team with the Jets in this video. That is the New York Knicks. And the topic at hand is what can the New York Jets learn from the New York Knicks and what Jet fans should take away from this New York Knicks run. Um Especially with this whole, you know, championship run, the way that the Knicks have been, sort of on the rise as of late. A couple years ago, they were among probably one of the more mocked NBA team, probably the most mocked NBA team in the NBA. I mean, I remember a few years ago, people were thinking of like tanking for Zion and everything like that. But the Knicks, they built a team that can compete and try to win championships. And look, I've seen, the Mets make it to the World Series. I now officially seen, you know, the New York Knicks make it to the NBA Finals. I can confidently say in my lifetime, it's possible to see the Jets in the Super Bowl. Possible. Not this year. Trust me, it's not going to be this year. Trust me, it's not. I'm not saying that. But in my lifetime, that's all I'm going to say. So, what can the Jets take away from the Knicks uprising so they can implement it into themselves and sort of have themselves on the rise? Well, the way the Knicks built their team is sort of unprecedented in sort of ways of team building. They didn't build their team through the draft. They sort of built their team with trades and signings and stuff like that. And just every single player that they've gotten, like Jalen Brunson, Cat, OG Adenobi, those guys are mostly acquired via trades or just signings. So the NFL, you're not going to see that, but it's still something to admire a little bit. How a team as bad as the New York Knicks can just shift like that. And the same could be said for the Jets. The same exact thing could be said for the Jets. And it would be very immature to act like it's impossible for the Jets to be competitive again. Very immature because there was no other team that was mocked and laughed at more in 2015 and to 2020 than the New York Knicks. No other team laughed at more. I mean, you had Charles Oakley get kicked out of Madison Square Garden. You have all these. You have James Dolan doing his meddling. You have all these ridiculous things that made the New York Knicks a meme. It made them a joke. And now you're seeing the same stuff the past few years, especially with the 2023 season to now, where the Jets are probably one of the more laughed at franchises in the NFL. Probably more than the Browns, more than the Lions. Like every single day, you gotta you know poke, nudge, nudge on Woody Johnson's meddling, on his Madden ratings type of thing, on requiring players. It's embarrassing. It's pretty humiliating. But to act like the Jets will never be competitive ever again is silly. And it it will be one day. One day, the Jets will be where the Knicks are. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure I know how or why, but I have a feeling one day what the Knicks are experiencing or what the Jets are going to be experiencing at some point. It's not going to be now, probably. I don't know if it's going to be 5 years from now. I have no idea. If it's 10 years from now, I have no clue. No clue. But I do know at a point, the Jets will experience what the Knicks are experiencing. I just got to say, I hope I'm alive for that. That's all I got to say. But, yeah, it's just, I'm not saying everything can be bad. You know, everything can be horrible for a sports franchise. There are bad moments for a sports franchise. There are bad eras for a sports franchise, and there are good eras, not errors. I mean eras, good eras for sports franchises. The Knicks are living in a good era right now. They finally got out of their crappy you know drought that they were just in, and now they're competing for a championship. They're playing the Spurs to possibly break their championship drought, which is kind of, in a way, similar of length of the Jets' championship drought. But yeah, the Knicks have that opportunity to end that drought. That's an amazing thing, and and I know people are going to look at me like, really? You see the Jets in your lifetime doing this? Yes, I do. I do. I do see the Jets in my lifetime possibly competing for a Super Bowl because I seen the Mets do it. I seen the Mets did it. Yeah, they lost, but they made it to the World Series. I'm now officially seeing the Knicks do it. Are they going to lose? I have no idea. But look, the Mets were owned by the Wilpons. Wilpons suck. They were one of the worst owners in the MLB. Everyone mocked the Wilpons. But in 2015, the Mets made the World Series. Everyone mocked James Dolan, yet the Knicks made the NBA Finals. The reason why those teams made those championship games is not because of the owner. And you know that it's not because of the owner. The owner, yes, they are part of the blame. But the main parts to blame are the people that they hire, the people that they bring in. Granted, you're allowed to give owner crap for hiring the wrong people. That's perfectly fine. But it's hiring the right people. That's what matters. That's what matters. When James Dolan brought in Leon Rose, it completely changed the sight of the franchise because Leon Rose brought in Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau brought in Julius Randle. Just like that, the Knicks went from joke to playoff contender. And then just like that, um, the Knicks knew they needed a superstar. Who did they get? Jalen Brunson in free agency. And then after that, um, they got Cat eventually. Then in time they got OG Anunoby eventually. They started assembling a good squad together. Tom Thibodeau wasn't gonna, get them past the finish line. Rose saw that, hired Mike Brown, who is still pretty darn good, a pretty darn good NBA coach in his own right. So you're now seeing what it's like to hire the right people in specific positions. The Mets, they brought in Terry Collins a long time ago. In 2015, Terry Collins assembled a group of great Mets players and especially brought in a very good bullpen, a very good pitching group of Matt Harvey before he completely fell off the face of the earth, Noah Syndergaard, and Jacob DeGrom. They had so many good players. They still had David Wright. They had Daniel Murphy. They had Cespedes. They had so many good players. Granderson. So many good players. So many good players on that squad. Did they again? Did the Mets win the championship that year? No, they lost to the Royals, but they still got there. For the Jets, that's all we're asking for, to just get there. Now, would it be better if they won the Super Bowl? Yes. I mean, we don't want any second place trophies, but the thing is, the point I'm trying to bring across to you is that yes, the owner is to blame. Yes, Woody Johnson is to blame for the Jets' crappiness, and the people that he's hired are also mostly to blame as well. Let's not pretend that the guys that Woody Johnson hired are completely blameless from this. They are part of the problem. They were part of the problem. McCagnon, Gaze, um, Foles, uh, Douglas, Sala. I can go on. I can go on. John Idzik. I can go on. It's about hiring the right people. It's all it's about. That's all it's about. It's about hiring the right people. What Jake Asmans has been saying about Woody Johnson is true. It's true. You got to hire the right people. Is Aaron Glenn the right person for the job? I mean, people are going to lean towards no, but I have no idea. I have no clue. We'll find out by the end of this year. We're confident that Darren Muji's right for the job because of that trade, because of those trades he pulled off in the trade deadline with Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams, with the amount of picks he recouped and the amount of draft picks he used this past first round with David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper. So our hopes are high with him. Aaron Glenn, our hopes are kind of low because of last year, the way the team looked. But who knows? Who knows? I have no idea how the team's going to look next year. Next year, if anything, is an audition for Aaron Glenn if he is the right coach moving forward. If the Jets stink, he should go. Obviously, it's not rocket science. If the Jets stink, Aaron Glenn should be fired. If the Jets are a decent to good team, there is a chance Aaron Glenn should survive and oversee the next quarterback to lead this franchise. There is a chance. But granted, there's a lot of people that doubt. I'll tell you that because of how bad last year went. Again, I mean, may I say this again and again? Woody Johnson deserves 50% of the blame. The other 50% is the people that he hires. It is the people that he hires. They sell him a bag of goods. He buys those goods and it gets ripped off. Granted, I am not giving Woody Johnson a full pardon. He still sucks as an owner. Okay? He's still awful. He's an awful owner. He meddles way too much for my liking. But again, Jake Asman said it best. You hire the right people and your franchise turns around no matter who's the owner. No matter who's the owner, you got to hire the right people to take control of the ship. Whether it be GM, head coach, team president, whatever. You got to hire the right people. That's all it has to come down to. So, yeah, I that's how I see it. I hate Woody Johnson as much as any other Jet fan, trust me. But if there's anything to take away from the Knicks appearing in the NBA final, is that owners aren't the end all be all of your team being harmed. They are part of it, but they're not the whole part of it. There are levels to this. There are levels to this. That is something people I don't think fully understand. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it. So, you can call me crazy to think that, you know, possibly you could see Jets turning it around with Woody Johnson. Look, And may I make this point again? The Jets made back-to-back AFC championships with guess who at the helm, at ownership? Woody Johnson. We talk about those back-to-back AFC championship games like it was the greatest time to be a Jet fan. Woody Johnson was still the owner. Guess what happened back then? He hired the right people. And those right people brought in the right talent, brought in the right players at the right time. And guess what? That's what led to those back-to-back AFC championship title appearances. But ever since then, we've been hiring the wrong people. Remember, after 2012, after 2011, the Jets they fired Mike Tannenbaum and they brought in John Idzik. And John Idzik was horrible. And John Idzik and Rex Ryan, they did not see eye to eye. They did not see eye to eye. That is something that has been abundantly clear. Remember, Rex Ryan in 2014 wanted Odell Beckham Jr. Speaking of which, I'm going to reference Odell Beckham Jr. in my next video today. That is going to be uploaded the same day. So I'm going to make it two-parted today just to make up for lost time. But Rex Ryan wanted Odell. He wanted OBJ, who would have really helped out Geno Smith in his second year. Would have really helped him out. Instead, John Idzik was like, nope, we're getting Calvin Bryant, who was a very mediocre safety at best. That was awful. Awful. Showed you what Rex thought of specific talent and what John Idzik thought of specific talent. Idzik was wrong because he was the wrong guy for the job. Don't point to anything closer to the Idzik to the time John Idzik wasted. Was it the 12 or was it 13 draft? It was the Idzik 13 or was it the Idzik 12? It was one of those two. He had a crap ton of draft picks. I think it was. I think it was the same year. It was 2014. That same year, 2014, he had a crap ton of draft picks, and he wasted all. Wasted all. Picked crap player after crap player. The only player that was worth a damn in that draft was Quincy Enunwa. The only player that was worth. Only player. And I love Quincy Enunwa, but he was kind of around Bilal Powell level of a good Jet, you know, a guy that, Jet fans love, but at the same time, not a lot of fans outside of Jets and wanted to really know who they are. I love Bilal Powell, I love Quincy Enunwa, but people are not going to know who Quincy Enunwa is outside of the Jets fan base. So, yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, I love Quincy Enunwa still. Great guy, amazing few years with the Jets when he was healthy. I remember there was a good point of I think around like 2015 to 2018. There was a lot of good Quincy Enunwa highlights out there. Problem was he got hurt. I think in 2019, he gets hurt and it's irreparable damage, and he had to retire from. That's what hurt. Honestly, I wish Quincy Enunwa would have been in the league longer, but unfortunately, it didn't last long for him. But still, back to basics. The reason why Jets have sucked for so long again was they hired the wrong people in specific jobs they needed to get right. Look, we'll see if Aaron Glenn's the right guy for the job. I am confident Darren Mucci is the right guy for the job. I have a feeling the way that he traded Sauce Gardner, the way that he traded Quinn Williams was completely justified. The way that they did it, the return that they got back on, the fact that they have 3 first-round picks this year, in 2027, and they have more to build off after the 3 first-round picks they used this year. That is great value, and that is how you build a competitive football team. The problem is the head coach the right guy for the job to help develop these players? Is that the question? That's the only question I have. A lot of people are going to say no. A lot of people are going to say no. Me, I have no idea. But that's my opinion on the matter. You can call me crazy on in my comments. You could say, Steelers will win under Woody Johnson. They probably won't, but you know, they're going to be competitive again under him. I can confidently say that. I mean, if the Knicks can do it with, you know, uh, if the Knicks can do it with James Dolan, if the Mets can do it with the Wilpons, the Jets can do it with Woody Johnson. Trust me. Trust me. I'm not crazy to look at it that way. But yeah, if there's one thing Jets fans need to learn from the Knicks is that the owner doesn't destroy everything. It doesn't destroy all hope. Yes, the owner might suck, but your team still has a chance to be competitive no matter what. It just depends if you hire the right people.